Welcome to the Unclehack Podcast, where dudes pretty much just talk dude shit.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of the Unclehack Podcast about to go underway for you. Upcoming date, stand-up comedy. You love it, you leave it, you fucking whatever. Who gives a shit, right? Show up, show out. Come on down to a Danger Cat show. You might get pregnant, even if you're a guy. Upcoming stand-up date, September 3rd, we're back in Calgary. That is this Sunday, next Friday. We are in Olds, Alberta, September 8th. That is the day. September 15th, Salmon Arm, British Columbia. September 16th, we are in Castlegar. September 24th, we are in Vancouver, British Columbia. And our first American date in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And December 3rd, Plano, Texas. Oh, excuse me. We head down to Rick Bronson's comedy strip down in Plano, Texas. Wonderful time. Another great weekend with a show here in Edmonton, Alberta. You know, the beauty of our shows is people show up and they love to get roasted. That's what they want now. That's what the folks want. It's some sort of like sick, twisted sexual pleasure that you show up to a show and you just want somebody to degrade you in front of a crowd. I don't know what it is. It's like when, when you see one of your buddies get his ass kicked in front of a group of people and he goes, "That was awesome. That was awesome." That's like the equivalent, That's the equivalent. And I don't understand the psychology behind something like that. I don't understand why somebody could sit back and just want that to happen. But they come down to the shows and we give it to them, baby. You know what? We need clips. We need clips. That's what we need. We need the clips to fucking take over and go viral on TikTok and people get upset. I can't believe they'd say that to somebody. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want. We want the promotion. We want folks out there to think that we're just evil, disgusting human beings, when in reality, we are. Isn't that lovely? But that's the joy of it, Come on down to a Danger Cat show. We talk our jazz, we say it freely, and you enjoy it. Why? I don't know. I don't understand the psychology of it. Maybe one day I will. I'm not quite sure if I will, though. I guess it's like that moment of spotlight is on you for however long you're getting roasted for, and it's fun. And it's nice. What's nice about our crowd is like the humility doesn't exist, and it's more so it's like a bonding. And I'm not really trying to trash anybody here. And I think it's awesome that people can show up and prove to the rest of the crowd that they can take a joke and that life doesn't need to be so fucking serious. That's why I enjoy the audience that comes out, they can laugh at themselves because it's funny, no matter what you do in your occupation. I think we all understand that we're going through the same kind of stride. We don't look at this as like, I feel like, the working class is able to view one another as equal. I think that's like the only group of people that can view themselves as equal amongst one another is if you're working, because that seems to be what a lot of blue collar guys, you probably don't even work. That's always a chirp. You look like you don't even work hard, And I thought that was like the goal in life is to like not work as hard and still make a lot of money while doing so. But it's always a dig with the blue collar fellas because it's like, yeah, fuck you. I don't fucking, yeah. I've never understood that one because like, when you're a young guy and you're spry, you're fucking young, dumb, full of cum, you know what they say. and you want to prove something, like you got to outwork your counterparts and like really bust your ass, you know? And it's a good quality to have. I respect the hell out of it. But then as you get older, you know, your body's breaking down and you can use that to your advantage by having a good apprentice underneath you, or like a good helper where you're like, geez, his helper's out working. And you can play their egos against one another and really get some shit done. And that's like where the wisdom comes in. You know, as you spend a little more time in the trades, a little more time with, you know, blue collar work, you understand how to manipulate the young guy into working harder so you can take a little bit more of the back seat and a little more of a leadership role, if you will. And if you're a smart journeyman, your boots shouldn't even be dirty, you know? Your boots shouldn't even be dirty. You should have nice tools. They should all be like still looking like they just came fresh out the motherfucking box. And you just use the ego of a young man against him. You know, that strong will, that idiocy that you have in your youth. I know I've been played like a fiddle a few times, you know. I know I've been played like a fiddle because I am that dumb. And I know that some older gentlemen on the site definitely probably seen like, oh, this guy will fucking do my work for me and I'll make him feel special about it. You know, like he gets a little pat on the head. Maybe I give him a little treat at the end of the day, you know, christen him with a nice ice cold Budweiser at the tailgate in the motel parking lot later, you know. Those are always the best times. That's the nice thing about our shows now, is like we bring the coolest of those guys on site to the show, and then I get to make them laugh. Similar, instead of like having to go group to group to group, and then you're ripping you're running the same material. You're doing it anyways out on the job site. You're trying to make guys laugh out there. You're trying to have a good time while you're out there, right? And while that's happening, meanwhile, what am I saying here? I lost my trace of thought, but what I'm saying is like, it's nice now. Like there are aspects of like the being out in the field that I do miss, you know. It is nice to bitch about the weather, you know. It is nice to, you feel the elements. You feel the seasons, you know, it's too hot, it's too cold. You got to fucking battle through it. It's always a mental struggle. And that's what I don't like about these fucking white collar assholes. It's like looking down upon the men that go out and bust their ass, you know. It's good to be a part of that community because you understand like just what you're built for and what you can overcome. It's nice, you know. It's like a fucking dogfight, dude. And you're in a dogfight every day. It's 32 degrees Celsius outside and you gotta go roofing? That shit, you know, you're fucking sunburnt to a crisp. You gotta get through that. You might have heat stroke, but you're like, I need this fucking check, bro. I cannot miss any hours. Because rent's increased, you know, all these, even like the mental battle and struggle you got to go through on top of like the physical realm that you're dealing with, all collide together and you just overcome it all at a job site. And, you know, maybe that's a very superhero way looking at it, but it's dope. I miss that shit, you know. I miss just digging deep, getting through it. That's the fun part. So I got to find like new ways to challenge myself, you know? And it's like simple little things, you know? Simple little things that I got to like battle myself, you know? Like my next mission here is to really kick vaping. That's my next mission. I got to kick the vaping. No more chewing, no more tobacco, you know? I got to get in like, I just want to get in like stellar fight shape again. Because it felt good. Like, you know, I was watching my last fight like a month and a half ago, probably. My last ride into the sunset. And you're just like, fuck, dude. You know, like not too often I try and venture back into the past and like soak in a little bit of that glory you had back then, you know, because it feels like an old guy thing to do, you know. That feels like an old guy thing to do at your local town bar. Or your local watering hole and like the whatever shithole hotel bar. That's that, you know, a good small town where, a small town's good when the local watering hole for all the old guys is like some old rundown. This bar hasn't been renovated since 1976. There's still carpet, still carpet from back in the day. There's more liquor spilt on that floor than a fucking bottle depot, brother. And that thing just reeks like stale piss. The pipes are backed up. You're like, I wouldn't trust the water coming through the taps and that. It hasn't been changed since like prior to when the motherfucker was built. You know what I mean? And all the old dogs gather in there, All the old dogs have their special table. The town knows. Don't sit at that table. That's where the fellas sit. That's where they congregate and talk about the past. And I got a little moment of that as I'm viewing myself from, I think that fight was maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I can't quite remember. Probably maybe 2016, 2017, so a little longer. 5-6 years ago. We'll call it as that. And you're watching, and you're like, damn, brother, you're piecing this guy up. It's nice. The fight before that, you got choked out in 58 seconds, but we're not going to talk about that. You don't want to talk about that because now you're getting to that age where, like, you used to fight? Yeah. I fucking iced a few cats in my day. Well, it says here you've been choked out a few times. We don't look at those. And then I get to start doing the reason they choked me out because they didn't want to stand there and fucking throw hands with the dog. I can start talking some shit because it's so far behind me. But I'm still young enough that where somebody would be like, all right, we'll square up then. I got to get to the age like where you look like, nah, we can't be fighting this guy. That's when I can start talking the real shit. That's when you can start talking the real shit. Sitting down, just a short glass full of ice, 2 shots of whiskey in there, and you just sip the whiskey. That's the move, man. That's how I'm going to play it out. Once I'm over 50, that's the move. But until then, I got to get in decent shape. You got to look half decent. Nobody wants to see a fat fuck go on stage, bro. You imagine that? Just a barrel on me looking like, over here looking like George Costanza. Brother, I'm already losing my hair. I can't be fucking losing a battle to metabolism. That's an uphill battle, my dog. That's an uphill battle. Be sitting in the bar all day long, every day in my 50s, getting a phone call from the wife being like, where are you? What time you coming home? What time you come? You're sitting in the bar again. You're sitting in the bar again. The ring of death. That's what I call that. That's the ring of death. It's like, it's like the final bell when you get KO'd and you're kind of half in it, half out. That sound, ding, 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 and then they end the fight. It's over, and you hear that. You hear that ring, or you get clipped in the jaw. I don't know if any of you ever been in a street fight and you get hit hard enough where it just like shakes your world and you get the zing. The zing, zing. That's the old guy version of that zing. Is the phone ringing. Those guys leave their ringers on, so it's just like some fucking stupid ringtone blaring. And it's the wife. How long you gonna be? How long? We've been waiting for you. How long you gonna be? Sitting there having a good time with the boys. How long are you gonna be? The ring of death. And you know what we always say? Not very long. We can't gauge a good time. You can't put a time limit on a good time. That should be a criminal offense. It's putting a time limit on a good time. You imagine that? 15 more minutes. No. I'm having a great evening with these fine gentlemen here, exchanging old war stories, talking about the past. And you want me to put a time limit on that? Like I'm supposed to just give up? I'm supposed to give up on this. Oh, look, my timer ran out of having good times now. I got to go clock in for some bad times. Are you out of your skull? I've never understood the fascination that women have with time, I've never understood it. It's always time. How much time? How long you going to be? What time are you going to be home? I don't know. You know? I just rewatched that movie, fucking Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid with Paul Newman in it. And it's like, yeah, there was a few moments in there. And if you haven't seen it, young guys, if you haven't seen that, you got to clock in on some old time movies. Much better than the new school shit. You watch a good flick from like late 60s, early 70s. There's something about it, just how it's filmed, how it's shot. There's like nostalgia that exists in your head because when, you know, a guy like me, and I imagine most guys that listen to this podcast, you know, you had a good sick day at grandma's house. You went downstairs and you watched movies with grandpa. What was he watching? Old Westerns, right? He was watching old Westerns with Clint Eastwood. You're watching old Clint Eastwood Westerns with grandpa, or old war movies, the good stuff. So it just like, it brought back some memories. But there was a moment in the film where it's like, well, when are you going to be home? Are you going to make it back? And when are you going to be home? And it's like, do they even have calendars back then? There's no pocket watch. This guy don't have a pocket watch. We're just running on sun up, sun down. How many days has it been? And you're like, I don't fucking know, dude. What do you mean, how many days has it been? I don't know. I haven't been counting. I have no goddamn idea. You just kind of went and ventured off back in the Wild West. You know, the frontier days, what'd you do? You just fucking ventured out there. If you made it home, you made it home. There was no calling one another up. How long you gonna be? What a fucking spoiled society we live in, you know? Guy can't go out for a few drinks without hearing how long. And I get asked, I get in these debates with the boys every now and then, with the fellas, and they ask, well, what do you think? Do you think now is a better time to be alive or back in the day? And I say back in the day. You know, I feel like we as people now are going through this thing where we kind of don't know what we want. We're so spoiled that we get to decide our outcome, where back then you kind of only had one. It was like, you got to go out, you got to kill some shit, you got to eat it to sustain life. And you maybe get a good 30 years on this planet. Now we're like croaking at 90, you know, if somebody passes at the age of 50, oh, he was so young. He passed at the age of 50, so young. Where back in the day, it's like he died at the age of 13. He lived a good life. He lived a great life. He lived to the experienced age of 13. He got to watch his balls drop. And in our society back then, that was considered, he became a man before he passed on, before he went to the spirit life. He became, he became a man before he left this planet. Now, if like you pass at 55, they're like, holy shit, he died so young. He died so young. Didn't even know what he wanted to do. You know, when he was younger, he wanted to be a referee in the WHL. You know, not high hopes. He just wanted to referee some hockey. That's all he wanted to do. This guy wanted to be a bartender, but somehow got into carpentry. You know, he wanted to go down south and be one of those fancy bartenders like Tom Cruise and Cocktail. He wanted to be throwing around the shaker cup, getting ladies whistling at him, and then go and lift weights during the day, get a little, look good for the camera, put on his sexy little bow tie and those nice little slacks, those black slacks that they always got, and go shake martinis for horny divorced women. That's what he wanted to do. Instead, he was a carpenter in Red Deer, Alberta. What a shame. And he died at 55. Didn't even get a chance to go and even try to be a little cocktail waiter. Yeah. Hey, we all got our own little dreams. We got our own little dreams inside our head. We live in fantasy world at time to time. You know, sometimes the fantasy world gets to be a bit too much, don't it, folks? And let's get this ad rolling. And we're going to get to our first, like, here's where I don't understand is like Canadians, I don't get it. Why do we feel the need to, we're always looking at America as if we sit upon a pedestal above the Americans that neighbor us, right? There's always something that we're trying to pull from what's going down in America. And Canadians, we like to believe that we are living in this perfect society up here, even though, you know, how many times have we had to talk about Canadians getting their necks wrung for taxes, inflation on groceries, rising fuel costs, the rising energy bills that just took place here in Alberta. You know, the list goes on and on and on. But nothing we like to do more is try to like compare ourselves to America as if like because of social issues that we are doing better than them. We do that too often, and it annoys me to my core because it's like these social issues that we try to compare us to in the United States of America, where if we took the same financial approach and we looked at it like who's better off, and I understand like in America, it can be a tough grind. You know, there are some people that are really struggling down there, but I mean, our minimum wage is what now, $15 an hour? You should be able to sustain a decent living off $15 an hour. And then you get the people that are, well, that's kind of like for entry jobs for kids that, you know, are in high school and they're working part-time. And yeah, but still, you know, if minimum wage can't sustain even just the small, you know, like I'm talking like we're not living in mansions on $15 an hour, but I mean like you should be able to at least afford a 1-bedroom apartment. We should. Why? I don't get why we as people always, well, if minimum wage goes up, then the price is got to go up. Well, then regulate that, you know? If we put more purchasing power into the people, then you raise your GDP. Isn't that how that works? I'm no economist or no fucking... You know, I'm not that bald-headed dick that sits on Dragon's Den and tells everybody, well, I'll give you a 15% stake if I'll give you 200,000. I know you asked for $1 million for 30%, but I'll give you 100,000. You know, I'm not one of those assholes. But wouldn't you want people, if you're exchanging currency and then you have room for people to invest in companies or, you know, invent new shit and they're selling products internationally, our GDP would raise and the purchasing power of the average Canadian goes up. We're able to build more, manufacture goods here, whatever it may be. Like I said, I'm no economist. I'm not going to sit back, but if I had even just the slightest idea that folks could afford more things, then that would mean we're purchasing more things. I mean, once you handed you've seen what happened during the pandemic. Once the CERB checks were handed out here in Canada, all of a sudden Amazon packages are just showing up at front doors all across the fucking city. Everybody's just sat around buying shit. Didn't think about it all the way through. Didn't do nothing. Didn't save for when tax season came around. Once the government wanted their fucking money back, nobody gave a shit. But what we love to do here, what we love in Canada, is to look at America and be like, at least we're not that. And it's always social issues, you know? At least in Canada, nobody can purchase a gun and go shoot up a mall, and then all of a sudden... Edmonton last week, somebody shoots somebody up at a mall. So which is it, folks? Where are we sitting on this fence post? But this is a fun one, like I was talking about. The headline on this: Canada advises L.G.B.T.Q. travelers to be aware of U.S. state laws. They're telling you don't go down there because right now. We're in our, you know, what happened there? Didn't the groundhog popped up out of the ground It turned out he was trans, so we get 3 more months of fucking pride parades. That's the new one. That's what we do up here. But this little fun video, this made me laugh.
L.G.B.T.Q advocates fear travelers need to carefully weigh the risks of travel to U.S. states like Florida, a popular destination for Canadians. That's because Governor Ron DeSantis recently banned gender-affirming care for transgender youth.
You hear that? So the gays, gender-affirming care for youth. Let's really zero in on that. Gender-affirming care for youth. So no more, listen, in Florida, you're not allowed to confuse the children. So we highly suggest that you don't go there if you're gay, because you might leave even more confused. Once you initially went there confused, and you leave there even more confused because, you know, if your kid is trans, which I don't even know how we're having this conversation. Isn't it wild? Like, we just came out of a fucking global, and I say that in air quotes, global pandemic, right? A global pandemic. And the first thing that one of the few things, I should say, one of the few things that became a issue sweeping both nations on is whether or not the kids can chop their cocks off. I don't even know how do you sit at a table and take that seriously, you know? I find it just fascinating at times that this is something that we're talking about as a society, as people. We are sitting here trying to debate whether or not the kids should be chopping their cocks off. Everywhere you go, you look around, you look up, you look down, and you wonder to yourself, you know, you look at the sky like, God, am I even a man? And then you look down and be like, I gotta chop you off. I don't get it. I don't understand. But because they won't let the kids chop their cocks off, you're supposed to avoid Florida. Ron DeSantis, who I will agree is a bit of a jerk off, you know? You hear the guy talking.
We need to let our kids just be kids.
Among other measures, advocates call hostile.
It is important that every person understand the facts, understand the situation on the ground and the new laws that have passed in Florida, and be able to make a decision, an informed decision for themselves.
Carlos Guillermo Smith says Florida travelers could face difficulty even using the...
This is what I don't understand about it, you know? Keep in mind, I'm a moron. I'm an idiot. These are just like questions that I try and figure out at times, you know? So you're telling me I can't take a child into a bar and feed him alcohol, but I can then take a child to a doctor and be like, fill him up full of hormones. This little fucker thought he was a boy when in fact he's a girl. And the doctor's supposed to just go, okay. And then like, hey, while you're at it, doc, throw some opioids on it because daddy needs to relax a little bit, especially now that his boy is now his little girl. So I got to erase all memories inside my head. In fact, I want to be an opioid addict. Well, this little fucker tries to figure out whether or not he's a boy or a girl. And hopefully by the time that I get into recovery or overdose in the street, I won't have to fucking either or. Either I have to deal with the outcome or I am dead. You know? I don't understand it. So children have a difficult time figuring out if they're a boy or a girl. How is this? It fucking, huh? I don't get it. That's the thing that like, I don't get it. We're insane. We are insane people these days. This is what we're arguing about, you know? I can't believe that this is something that we're arguing about. I don't get it. That's my problem, is I just don't understand. And maybe that's like, I don't know if that's just like, oh, well, he's copping out of here. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get why like the gays now. The gays used to be cool. You know what I mean? You know those old school gays that are just like, you know what? I'm an old faggot. I'm just an old faggot. All I want to do is suck back some wine and haul on a hog every now and then. Other than that, leave me alone. You know, they're hilarious at fucking, you know, one of those, when you see an old gay at the party, he's always hilarious. He's always cracking jokes. He can be the brunt of a joke. They're fucking so funny to be around. The old school gays are the best. The new school, Dave Chappelle said it best. The new school gays are just like, it's like temper tantrums. We've become like, everybody has kind of become so self-absorbed with their own identity, how the world needs to perceive them, like their story needs to be told, you know? Like they're the star of their own Hollywood film everywhere they go. Every time you go out in public, you're seeing fucking people recording themselves, doing the dumbest shit imaginable. They're doing fucking TikTok dances in Walgreens, you know? Like I just seen one the other day that some chick got kicked out of a Target while she was trying to film a music video. She was filming a music video in a fucking Target. Why Target? Why there? Why do you, where in your head do you say, you know what? We're going to do an impromptu music video inside Target and then get pissed off that because we're filming a music video inside there with no permits, you know, I'll agree. I don't like the law, but if you don't have permits doing, so what? You know? No, that's not the take I'm taking. So what, as in like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. You're annoying everybody right now because you have to be, you know, look at me. I'm filming a music video in the Target. And then as she's getting kicked out, guess what card she pulls? You're being racist. Oh, God, here we fucking go. You know? Here we fucking go. And it's same like this. This is literal violence. Literal violence. The only violence here is you guys cutting off the kids' cocks or wanting the cocks chopped off. Gender affirming care.
Bathroom, as one bill restricts use of washrooms in certain public spaces to a person's gender assigned at birth. He also warned transgender...
That's the thing I don't get either. Gender assigned at birth. Like we have any other options. You know, when I came out of the womb, I was like, Mom, actually, I am a retard. I don't put on my birth certificate that this is a fully functioning or I guess a baby male. That's not the case. I am retarded. Okay, put that down. Put that down. But because I was assigned at birth as a functioning human being, now I got to go out and do all this shit. I got to go work for a living. I got to make fucking things happen. I got to be a part of society. I got to, you know, accept this. I got to accept that trans people shouldn't have to fight to exist. Just exist. I don't know where they think like this is all like, you know, hit 18. At 18, if you still want, you know, to fucking sawzall your tits off, go ahead. Do whatever the fuck you want. But until then, shut the fuck up and do the times tables. You know what I mean? Shut the fuck up and go to fucking social class. Your teacher don't care. Your teacher don't care. I think a lot of, you know what, a lot of young teachers getting into the game, I think they go in there and be like, you know what, I'm going to teach these kids, I'm going to help them. Then they get there and you realize like a lot of parents just suck. You know, a lot of parents just did a bad job on raising just horrible kids. And then you're like, oh, fuck, did I make a mistake? You know, I can't imagine that. You know, I can even like reflect on my youth inside of schools, and I wasn't the best. You know, I love to joke around. I like to say funny things, or at least try to say funny things in the moment. And that probably gets annoying once you've been doing it for 5-6 years. You know what I mean? If every new guy came on site and thought he was Jimmy Jokes all day long, you'd probably get a little annoyed too. Especially the old teachers. It's like, yeah, there's a crossover there. As you've done this task longer. The young guys that come in with like that youthful spirit, they annoy you because it's like, listen, this thing is going to drag you fucking down, pal. Enjoy it while you can. You can recognize, I was the same way when I was a younger little fella there. I was the same way. I thought the world was all sunshine and goddamn rainbows. But here I am. I sit before you saying that this shit is going to kick you in the balls until you're down, that it's going to punt you in the teeth, and then you're told to get up. Do it again. Trans people shouldn't have to fight to exist. What are they fighting? I don't get that. All it's saying is like, yeah, maybe just for the kids. That's the thing here. Like the kids, like trans adults, do whatever you want. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody fucking cares. This is probably a bad take. See, these are the things that you say and you get in trouble for, right? Isn't it funny now that these are the things that people say and they get in trouble for, you know? This is the shit. These are the stances that some people are scared to take because you might lose your job, right? But all we're saying is just like, let the fucking kids learn about goddamn World War II, you know? Let the kids learn let them learn what 2 times 2 is before we start being like, well, what do you feel like today? You know? Let them go outside and fall off tire swings for fuck's sakes. That's all we're saying. Leave them be. The teachers already got it fucking hard enough. Showing up in a room full of bastard children that just don't know how to behave. For now, you got this new group that's coming in where the pandemic is like royally fucked them up. They've sat on screens. Some of them watched Andrew Tate for 2 years. You know, they got the Andrew Tate highlight reel. Now they're in high school telling women to shut up and get back in the kitchen. So you got that to deal with. And then on the other side, you got some kids that just thought that they were really into anime, but then they gravitated more towards the queer shit for some reason. You know, all the cartoon fantasy world, they're like, why can't I live this in reality? And then they start putting on the cat ears and fur boots, and they're like, well, trans people need rights. I'm non-binary. Throw me a fucking party. And then the Andrew Tate kids are like, what color's your Bugatti? They're yelling that at the trans kid. Now everybody's arguing, and the teacher's going being like, Jesus Christ. Do any of you know how to operate a shovel? No? We're doomed. Everybody in here wants to be a TikTok star. Okay. Every time I go out into the hallway and I'm trying to, you know, cross over to the next classroom that I got to teach, I got to weave through 18 kids filming TikTok dances doing the Hollywood Shuffle to a Doja Cat song. God, I feel for them. I couldn't imagine what a high school is these days. It looks like hell. It sounds like hell, you know? Sounds like hell. I imagine even the pedophiles are just like, they scoot right by it. They're like, nope, we don't even go there anymore. We don't even know what's going on in there. They'd probably have the scoop. They're like, nope, don't even know, can't tell. All the kids now are like androgynous. We don't know who's who anymore. Some girls look like 13-year-old boys. It's just like, you know, you don't know what you're getting. It's like a fucking, it's like a gumball machine of what we're looking, you know? You get the landscape. All the kids are out playing, and you're like, who's who out here? Ron DeSantis fucked this all up. Actually, that's the pedophiles are all jacked up because they're like, thank God Ron's stepping in. You know, twice now I've accidentally picked up a young girl. I abducted a young girl. I don't mess with young girls. Who the fuck would want that? You know? The pedophiles are like Ron DeSantis supporters because he's getting rid of gender affirming care. And he's like, it's too hard. It's too hard to guess who's who. Who's who out here? Everybody's all into fucking Pokemon. You know, they all wear Pokemon shirts and got the cat ears. I don't know who's who anymore.
Visitors may be unable to find proper health care. North of the border, Egal Canada says the risks are real, and Canada should issue a travel advisory.
Right.
Travel advisory, that's a minimum.
This is what I'm telling you. Helen Kennedy Over here, it looks like Joe Biden, executive director of Egal Canada. What's Egal Canada? Isn't that like school? Is that school Canada? Executive director. But right here, if you're watching this on YouTube, you understand what I'm talking about. This person looks like fucking, what's his nuts? Dr. Finkelstein from Nightmare Before Christmas, the real life version before us. But we got Helen Kennedy, sounds like fucking a woman dressed like a man. See, even when they're old, you don't know what you're dealing with here, you know? Meanwhile, out there hanging a hog in the female bathroom.
An absolute minimum as to what our government should be doing. We certainly should be putting more into international development to us LGBTI folks. And we should be doing more at home domestically to address this anti-hate movement, because it is growing and it's snowballing.
It's not even like anti-hate. It's just like annoyance, you know. I don't know how you attribute this hatred with like annoyance. Every time, there's a fucking Pride Festival again in Edmonton. They just had a month. Now there's a week, and then there's another week. Then they have a day here, and it's like, does it end? You know, it's not even that we hate it. It's just like, does it end? It's just annoying at this point. It's not hatred. It's annoyance. And you're attributing the wrong type of reaction to what's going on with all of it. That's what I think. You know, I see like most people are just like, oh God, here we fucking go again. When does it end? It's like we came out of lockdown and we're like, hey, you know what? We're just going to have a year of gayness. That's what we're going to have. We're just going to do gay for a year. And if you don't like it, you can go fist yourself.
Global Affairs Canada has put warnings in place for LGBTQ travelers to...
Oh my God. So they put warnings here. So individuals from the 2S LGBTQI plus community have been attacked and harassed based on their identity and sexual orientation. Violent incidents have increased since the Parliament passed an anti-homosexuality bill in March 2023. Oh my God. Gay travelers should carefully consider the risks of traveling to Uganda. You gotta be shitting me. Way to go, Canada. You fucking morons. Hey, listen. If you're a screaming homosexual, I highly suggest that you do not go to a third world country. We're just telling you right now. I know, you know, some of you thought like, hey, it'd be fun to go on a little safari, maybe in Uganda, go float around, wear a little, a leaf skirt and parade around in some of these villages. But we highly recommend, if you're trans and you look like a mutant from one of their ancient fairy tales that the elders passed down to other villagers, we suggest you don't go over there. If you have a dick and a set of tits, it ain't safe. Uganda. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Travel and your sexual orientation, gender identity.
Other countries, even ones deemed safe for most Canadians.
Traveling to the American Samoa.
But would not say if it will do so for states with so-called anti-LGBTQ laws. And for those working on the ground, the question now is what comes next.
What we're seeing and what we're hearing from LGBTQ families and parents.
LGBTQ. You're forgetting some. Do the rest of them get upset when you forget to add the 2 and then the L and like is the 2 supposed to be in front? Like, is there arguments about that? We can't even come to an agreement on like what is it? LGBTQ.
Parents is a fear that the worst is yet to come.
Sean Preble, Global News.
Jesus Christ. You know, like, I'm all for people doing whatever they want, but it's like once you start treading into almost public, you know, I don't like anybody just fucking around in public. Actually, that's a lie. I like it when people are fucking with the government. So I do enjoy that they're doing that, but I just like when the reasons I don't really agree with, that's what makes it difficult. You know, if it was like, hey, we want to go park our trucks in front of the, you know, but you got a drag queen over here spray painted purple like she's fucking Barney. I love you. We'll hate Jews. God almighty. But that's the thing. It's like, now it's just like, it's gotten to the point where, you know, it's like a battle for children's minds, and which just seems eerie and weird, you know? It's like, children need gender affirming care. And it's like, where did this even come from? You know, when we were kids, when I was a kid, we didn't talk about this shit. Fuck, we barely talked about sexual education inside of our school, you know? It was just like, go figure it out. We're Catholic. Go fuck. Just go fuck. We don't need to talk about this. This is awkward. This is weird. We don't need that sort of discussion happening all the time. You know? We don't need it happening all the time. I got one last little video here that I'm excited to fucking show you fine people out there, because this is what the dating world, you know, everything's in shambles right now, and it's annoying, you know. We're gonna get this over here.
Bare minimum that you should be doing for your boyfriend in a relationship, because my first one went way too well, and I did the
You know what I mean? Like, this is the type of content that's going viral these days. It's like bare minimum what you should be doing, you know. We have no concept of like how to interact with one another. This whole lockdown thing for single people must have been awful. You know, it must have been awful. Nobody knows how to interact with one another in relationships. Like male, female, like relationships are in shambles. Everybody has an idea of like who they are in their head, when in reality, they're nothing what they are and what they deserve, you know? It seems like everybody has this idea of like what they deserve in a partner or in a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be. But nobody just truly understands how big of a piece of shit they actually are, you know? And we gotta turn to content creators to like, oh, that's how dating works, you know? Everybody's a whore, and for some reason, like, now the tables have turned. Before it was like men chasing women, and now like I'm seeing like women upset that men won't chase them because, and this is like North American specific, it seems like. It's like, just based on content that I see online and just hearing what my friends have talked about of like the dating world and what's out there and what the expectations are that are put on them and how they got to act and how they need to be perceived, and like people want to rush into things now, and like I love you should be said in the first, like by the second date, you should be in love, you should be planning a wedding. You know, and yet like the bare minimum of just like human interaction is misunderstood, which is fascinating that this is even working anymore, you know. And like all these guys now, like the birth of passport bros are heading overseas and just grabbing these ladies that have been raised by their mother. It is like there's traditional women that just understand, like, hey, come on over here. I'll take care of you. Life will be good. I'll work. You cook, clean, do all that shit. There's like gender roles where now everybody is a star in their own fucking movie. And it's got to be a rom-com. Like, it's fascinating. And then this lady comes on here and gets people like, hey, yeah, well, this is what you should be doing, bare minimum. So I'm excited to hear this. And first off, I've heard it. But this is what you as a girlfriend should be doing, bare minimum.
opposite, where like what a man should be doing for his girl in the relationship. So let's do the vice versa. Number 1 is motivation. So a lot of men feel as though they need to be the breadwinners in the family or the relationship. So they need that motivation from us women to push them, to tell them to keep going. Number 2, a lot of guys don't like to speak about their feelings. So it is on us ladies to check in and ask them how they're feeling and get that, answers out of them so that they do feel like they can open up to us. So it's us to check in.
Isn't that funny? They got to feel like they need motivation. Yeah. It's called David Goggins, You imagine your old lady is like a motivator behind you as you're like lifting in the gym, like, one more rep. That's what you need. You need an old lady that'll come to the gym with you. She's going to lift with you. And as you're struggling on that last rep, push, you need that in your ear. And then afterwards to like act like a therapist, you got to, that's the thing about being a dude. You just got to bottle that shit up. You got to explode every now and then. That's how we were taught, We had the old guard way of thinking given to us, the old boys. That's what they did. You didn't talk about. Like there's like 2 emotions that you need to be talking about. And it's like pissed off or like a humiliating story. Those are like, I'm so fucking pissed off right now, or you're laughing. Those are like the 2 things. It's like you're joking and laughing around, or you're angry. Those should be the only 2. Other than that, you got to be mute. That's the thing. And now we got all these ladies out here that feel. This is like a new trend that I'm seeing is like women now are taking to social media and they're like taking the side of men, but meanwhile having OnlyFans accounts and selling you nudes as if like they care about men's rights issues or men's mental health or like the fact that men kill themselves at a significant rate, a significantly higher rate than women do, and you wonder why like women's sports are failing, You wonder why they're failing. Is like the success rate on your guys' follow through is just it's incredibly depressing. And you want to bitch about, well, we should be paid as much as the men, and then get your numbers up, be more successful. How are you that bad at killing yourself? Like how anybody that has like, you're allowed like one failed attempt. I think you're allowed one failed attempt. At least after the second one, it's like, oh my God, what are we doing here? You want us to fucking roll out the ballet rug? You want to tap dance for it? What the fuck do you want? Yeah, how much attention do you need? That's ignorant to say, by the way. I'm joking. By the way, if you are actually suicidal and you failed, no, I'm joking. I ain't going there. I'm joking. I'm kidding. Okay, it's a joke. It's a joke. I do care, somewhat. Actually. After the first one, you get a free pass on the first one. See, this is why I shouldn't have a microphone talking about this type of shit. But this is what I'm talking about, though, was women. We were talking bad about women. That's what we were doing. But it's hilarious that the ladies are using like men's mental health against them to extract money out of them on their OnlyFans accounts and be like, yeah, I actually care, but it's going to cost you $5.99 a month and you get a pussy shot. How does that sound? Isn't that say I care, like giving me money and showing you my pussy? Doesn't that say I care? Doesn't that make you feel like women are taking men's issues seriously? That's why we don't take women's sports seriously. It's because it's like, did you know that men lose majority of custody battles inside courts, inside the court system? Meanwhile, click my link in the bio and have a pussy shot for $5.99 a month.
Number 3, physical touch. I literally tell everyone this. If he's not getting it from you, he's getting it from somebody else. So we need to be the person to give our man physical touch. And that can stem from absolutely anything. That can just...
These are like the most basic things that humans should be doing with one another. It shouldn't even just be like the fact that you have to tell, the upcoming generation of women that these are just like the basic relationship traits that should exist inside, like, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. If you're rubbing fucking, inside out dicks, whatever it is, non-binary. You know, you shove carrots up your ass and call yourself Bugs Bunny. You could be in love with a vacuum, whatever it is, whatever you're into. You know, these are just like basic things that I think that people should understand. And it amazes me that this lady is sitting here like she is just sending some Jordan Peterson groundbreaking psychiatric news to the world. These are just things of being a decent human being, just in general, you know, just like high-fiving your dog after he does something cool. But the fact that you have to tell the upcoming generation of women, you know, these young ladies, fucking, hey, good luck out there. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck out there.
Kisses, hugs, whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing, we need to give him that physical touch. Next is upgrading his skincare routines, his hygiene, whatever it is. A lot of men don't spend that much close attention on what they're putting on their face, what they're putting in their hair, what they're putting on their body. So it is up to us to get them the best face masks, the best under eye creams.
It gradually gets worse. Okay, I forgot to forewarn you. It gradually gets worse. Okay, that's what, you know, the ladies are put on. You need skincare, fellas. That's what this whole time, you know, because that's what it counts. As long as you have good skin, I have the worst skin. You know, I always have pimples. I've always had bad skin, and like, we're not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, you gotta update your skincare routine. Shut up. I use body wash as shampoo. Do you think I fucking care? It's the most guy thing on the planet. We don't need fucking 18 different bottles of bullshit, okay? Give me the body wash. I'm going to use it. And for those that have played sports, I'm guessing you used the hand soap when you forgot a bottle of shampoo in the showers after a game, after practice. You used the hand soap on the wall. I guarantee you. Anybody that's played sports, it is a known fact that if you've forgot a towel and shampoo, you know, and it's always the last guy that showers. The last guy that showers always forgets the shampoo and the hands, or the shampoo and a towel. So what are you doing? You're drying off with a dirty sock and using the hand soap on the fucking wall. That's what you're using. That's what you're using. And this lady's over here barking about, oh, well, if you aren't using, you got to update his skincare. Fucking, come on. This is what you guys are dealing with out there?
Anti-aging creams, things like that will help them and that they don't have to put the energy into looking into. Now, this might just be me, but I need to keep my man updated on, you know, what's working in the fashion industry, what he could be wearing, how he should be styling things, what's new, what's trending. That's my job because I am in fashion, but for this sake and for my opinion based, it is the lady's job to keep our man updated on the fashion.
That's what you need. You need your woman dressing you. You need you can always tell. You know what the fucking sad thing is? You can always tell the guys whose ladies are, who are, you know, like you look at them and be like, yep, his fashion advice is getting, you know, like I knew this guy 4 years ago now, and he was wearing like basically old band tees. He's wearing, and then all of a sudden he looks like a cuck. You know, that's what you need. You need your guy dressed up like a cuck. God almighty. This is the advice that you guys are giving each other. This is the advice. Why doesn't anybody just talk to a guy? What do you need? I need like silence as much as I can. You know, I need a quiet house. I just need you to not to tell me about what's happening in the Kardashian world, because I don't care. I don't need to know what's going on with the Doja Cat drama. I don't need to know anything about TMZ. I don't need any of that. Dude, is this like the level? This is what you guys are dealing with? My sweet Jesus, what is going on? You got fucking, you got a stylist, a makeup artist. That's what you guys need. You guys, holy shit. And you wonder why everybody's non-binary.
Men have a lot on their plate, so bringing them a coffee or a lunch to their office goes a long
There it is. Office. See?
way. And last but not least, this should be a given, but I will say it anyways. Be loyal. Guys don't stress about too much and they don't like stressing about anything. So do not make that be one thing that they do have to stress about and an add-on in their life. Just be loyal. One more is do not do anything that you wouldn't want your man to do to you. So saying something to a certain guy.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. You know, this is what they're passing along to one another out there. You know, I didn't believe that fluoride in the water made people retarded until that. Okay? I didn't think that. But guess what? It's back, baby. That's right. A little hate mail is back. I know I've been slacking the past couple of weeks because I haven't been getting much hate mail. But this week, it seems like you guys have stepped up to the plate. You got some shit to get off your chest, and I like that. I like that you're emailing me your hate mail. That's the joy of this show. Get it off your chest. I'll read it. unclehack at dangercats.tv. Subject line, hate mail. So that way I can put it into the folder. I'll put a nice little fancy thing. If you want to be anonymous, you can. You can put your name in it. You can do whatever you want. Write whatever you want. You see that video? Are you annoyed about how this show went today? Tell me about it. You heard that advice and now you're staring as you're driving down the highway, you're looking to the right and you see a giant telephone pole and you're moving at maybe 110 kilometers an hour and you just heard that woman talk and now you think like I should drive right into it? Don't do it, okay? That's my anti-suicide shit right now. I'm telling you, don't do it. And our first piece of hate mail, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't even use the soundboard today. Oh my God. Hey, anti-hack. Got me. I got something to get off my chest. What a dig. Anti-hack. Ooh. I took this girl on a date. Everything was fine. We chatted for a couple of weeks up till that point of going on a date. We went for dinner. Everything seemed fine. We sat down for hours and laughed and had a good time. Then she asked if I wanted to go on a second date. So I thought, sure, why not? She added me onto Instagram at the end of the date. Never thought much of it. Then the next day, nothing. Never heard from her for days. Then out of the blue, she texted me and called me a right-wing male chauvinistic pig, which I couldn't understand why. Then she started going off about how I went to the trucker rally in Ottawa. I told her, why the fuck not? I live 2 hours away. Why the fuck? Okay. Why the fuck okay wouldn't I go? Anyways, what should I think about that? Is it me or is it just worry too much over some stupid brain dead bimbo? Also, you're a fucking Jew faggot. Hitler didn't do a good enough job on your family line. You can't be serious. You think I'm Jewish? What should you think about this? Well, here's the problem is, as we heard in the previous video, that women are incapable at times on thinking past, like thinking for themselves, thinking for themselves. They gotta pass the most useless information upon, like guys are exchanging like, hey, don't put this motor in that truck I did in a blue tranny, blah, 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 blah. We're passing along information. We exchange information. That's the joy of being a guy. Cause we have thoughts, we've done things and you can pass on some wisdom where these pigs, these hogs these days, they see the headlines. Oh, you went to the trucker. You know what I mean? Like they're programmed different and they're easily influenced by, especially these idiots like the Kardashians and all this. You're supposed to be left wing. You're supposed to be loving. You're supposed to be liberal with everything that takes place in society. And I understand that, it's got to be difficult moseying around in a world where nobody gives a shit about your opinion, So what are you going to do? You just take others' opinions, scoop it into your pile. So I wouldn't think too much about this, okay? Plus, you want to argue, you know, are you that deprived of pussy that you want to argue with some fucking moron? And then out of the blue, she just texts you this? You're a chauvinistic pig. Because that's how dumb they are, okay? They can't recognize that you sat down for hours and laughed and had a good time. And then she asked you if you wanted to go on a second date with her. And forgets all of that and then associates you with an event that you went to, okay? Doesn't see that maybe you're a good guy because they can't look past like all the headlines and all this and just see you for an individual. They got to associate you with a group, and then that's bad, okay? You're a bad guy for going there. So I wouldn't think much about this. And then you summed it up perfect at the end by calling... by using this term to describe her, or using this to describe her, sorry. Stupid, brain dead bimbo. Perfect. You should have left it at there. Those are for practice. You know, you go out, you get some practice in. So that way when game day comes around, you know how to woo the woman that you really want. You know, you had a good time, you laughed, had some drinks, probably a little dinner, things seemed well. And then she sees your Instagram and be like, oh my God, a right-wing fucking chauvinistic pig, even though she just spent hours laughing with you. That should tell you exactly the kind of woman that you were dealing with right there, my friend. And you shouldn't feel bad about not wanting to partake in this woman's life, because it sounds like you did the right thing by associating her with the verbiage that you used. So you, my friend, are on the right track. You're doing okay. Listen, send her that video that we just played on the podcast about what she needs to do. See, that's what that was for. It's just like, this is what you ladies need to do. You need to figure it the fuck out. Okay, our second piece of hate mail. Hi, Hack. I'm so sick and fucking tired of this piece of shit degenerate society. How are pedophiles getting busted for child porn in 2023? I have to hit the report button and quick swipe past multiple TikTok/Instagram videos of teenage girls with their twats out shaking their asses in order to finally get to content that's related to my dorky hobbies I'm actually interested in. I feel you, you know, it's just pussy everywhere, you know? So, and like, sometimes it's nice because you get a little glimpse and you're like, ah, nice. Oh, that's all right. But you're always, it's just like twerking teenagers. And you're like, ah, no, I want some C-section scars here. Where the fuck are they? You know, where are the battle scars of a C-section and a botched titty surgery, you know, or a botched boob enhancement? That's what we're looking for. Instead, I want to see like guys doing dumb shit. That's what I like. Anyways, I also think it's wild that people are paying for OnlyFans when they could observe multiple vaginas at their local Planet Fitness. Dude, you couldn't be more right. Lululemon's objective is to make the fabric barrier between your eyes and her asshole as thin and as stretched out as possible. At this point, can we please just make it socially acceptable to jerk off in public? As long as you remain at least 20 feet away from your target at all times, ? I'm not sure why we're still doing this whole song and dance instead of just fucking. I think that's the issue with society. Everybody is too busy jerking themselves and each other off to actually fuck. If people could just fucking fuck, things would probably be a lot better. I couldn't agree more with you, sir. Instead, here we are filling all the retarded quotas. First date to a coffee shop? Check. Second date to a restaurant so I can stuff my cock hole? Check. Third date to a bar so I can get sloppy drunk? Is still waiting so I can fuck him until that happens? Just once. I'd like to see someone have the balls to walk down the street asking people, hey, you're sexually attractive. Want to fuck? No? Okay, thanks anyway. Hey there. You are also sexually attractive. Want to fuck? No? Okay, thanks anyway. How about you? Want to fuck? Yes. Okay, fantastic. Eventually, when the nuke sirens go off, maybe people will finally have the balls to fuck each other and stop jerking off. I can't stand it. I'm sick of it. I want nothing to do with any of it. Fair enough, brother. My solutions to all my problems of society is to bring back ECW. Now we're talking. We can modernize all the wrestling themes and cater to the whole built to serve bootlickers versus Antifa faggots. Here's the hook. A white man is going to have to say the word nigger on network television. There you go. Well, we're not network television, but we did just say it. Once that happens, the entire world is captivated. If you really think about it, the guy doesn't have to be racist. He's just a character, which is exactly what the world needs. A professional wrestling character who they can truly hate all over again. My point is, once the N-bomb gets dropped, the narratives can be anything you want. And the sky is the limit, since the audience sure as shit won't be tuning in to anything else every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern from that point forward. Ultimately, I want to see Zelensky wrestle Nick Fuentes with Anderson Cooper as a guest official for the night. ECW, Raw is War, Degeneration X, that's what I need. Attitude Era was the last time things were going really great in life. That's what I'm talking about. I don't even need to comment on that. My friend, you summed it all up. You got to the point. You ripped it. You gripped it. That's what this show is all the fuck about, ladies and gentlemen. That man, and you even coaxed me into saying a hot one. We dropped the forbidden word. Hack. I'm sitting at a gas station 10 kilometers south of hundreds of oil lease and pad sites near Bonnyville, Alberta. Thanks for putting the thoughts of every working motherfucker up here into words. Between my wife and I, we make what 20 years ago would have been a stellar household income. We would have had our house finally or nearly paid off in 10 years and be sailing. Now our house is $90K less than we bought it for. We've refinanced twice to keep our heads above water and pay off credit card debt we've racked up just to live. No toys, no extravagant vacations, maybe a tent up in the bush when we can manage it and not be working. Meanwhile, these fucks in Ottawa are sending billions to Ukraine and the pharmaceutical companies in which they are direct shareholders in. What you said about a general strike is the only remaining option for working Canadians. Everybody collect up to 3 weeks of food and supplies before winter, and let's shut this whole thing down. No going to work, no bill payments, no commerce for 3 weeks. Longer if necessary to get our supposed representatives actually representing us again and back off this rampant money printing and income taxation when things are already tight. I can't remember a single piece of legislation that has been debated lately. All this shit, Trudy, is just passing by decree. Fucking bourgeois asshole. Yeah. I agree, my friend. You know, it is getting rough out there. And everybody's greedy, including myself, which is why I'm telling you to head on over to the Patreon episode and get yourself another episode of the Uncle Hack podcast. You know, email us, unclehack@dangercats.tv, subject line hate mail, and we will read it on this show for you. That's the joy of this show. You can talk shit about me, your friends, your family, whatever you really want. Anything that truly annoys you. I love that people feel it's necessary to email this show and I get the opportunity to read your hate. Don't do it in the streets, because then, before you know it, it's going to be illegal to go in the streets unless you wear a pride flag, okay? Then you can go and speak your mind. But until that day, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Uncle Hack podcast, where a moron with a microphone rambles uncontrollably for an hour and what looks to be 10 minutes this episode. Or an hour and 15, a little extra. We went long for you because that's how much I love you being here. Anyways, thank you for tuning into another episode, and we'll see you next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Good night, everyone.